What's up, mortals? It's Dante from the anime Underworld, and today we are covering chapter 238 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, titled The King of Resolve. Daughter finally meets mother as Gawain, bloodied and bruised after defeating a fake version of her father Escanor, finally gets the chance to meet her mother, the boar sin of gluttony, Merlin. Oh, but it's not just that that's on the cover page. Yeah, after everything that happened, now you want to give us a warning. And before we continue any further, a little bit of warning, because if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, this chapter is going to contain some depictions of suicidal intent or suicidal ideation. And yeah, guys, I've been through this. It's not great. And if you are experiencing something similar, suicidal thoughts or feelings, guys, you are not alone. And yes, there is help. I've experienced this. I've given these people a call before, and I went to their website. You are not alone. There is always help. And with that in mind, let's get into it. We begin chapter 238 with Merlin snapping her fingers as the four knights of the apocalypse are still in a maze of the boar sin of gluttony. And with Merlin's magic, they are teleported out of that room and to a new location. The question is, where did the boar sin of gluttony take them? Out of the cubed room, now they are at a tower made up of cubes. I'll give it this. It looks a lot better than Obama's presidential tower. With the boar sin of gluttony telling the four knights of the apocalypse, follow me. We'll talk inside. Gawain starts to power down and debuff, saying, okay, as blood continues to drip from her face. Percival is a little weary, asking what quote-unquote truth is there to find, as Tristan rushes over to Gawain and begins to heal her. But Lancelot is a little hesitant, but asks a very simple question. You really are Merlin, aren't you? Because I recall some serious burn marks around your lips in the memories that Gother showed us. Guys, I forgot to mention this last week, but a lot of people were kind of confused as to why Merlin didn't have the burn marks around her lips and a little bit around her neck. These are the burn marks she got when she kissed Escanor goodbye as he was being torn apart and turned to ash, a permanent reminder on her body of the man who truly loved her. Tristan and Percival are thinking the same thing, and Tristan does also know about the burn marks, and he does say, yeah, I actually think you're right. Even Gawain wants to know, awkwardly blushing, as she asks her mom what's up. And then Merlin gives us the answer. She explains, my lord chided me over that. Quoting, is it really right to show off those hickeys to your daughter? Wow, Arthur said that? And this moment is little awkward for the four knights of the apocalypse, especially Gawain, who has no idea on how to act like that as she blushes red like a tomato. Percival, the guy who already had with two women, has no idea what a hickey is. Okay, seriously. Okay, is he smart or not? You can't keep switching between knows about something and doesn't know shit from shit. Though Lancelot is less concerned about hickeys and more concerned about this quote-unquote lord. The four knights of the apocalypse follow the boar sin of gluttony closer to the tower made up of cubes. And along the way, Gawain just looks at Merlin's hand. She tries to reach out for it, but before she can get the chance, she pulls back. This is pretty sad. Come on, Merlin, give your daughter some parental love. She's very thirsty for it. As they approach the tower, the wall begins to shift and change. The cubed wall begins to open up as the group enters Merlin's tower. And as they enter, they wonder what's inside of all of this. Not what, but who. And in the next shot, we see the four knights of the apocalypse left in complete shock and awe for who they see before them. The four knights of the apocalypse not only found the boar sin of gluttony, but her lord, King Arthur. The two of them have been hiding out in the same tower. Merlin decides that this is the right time to give some much needed proper introductions, telling them, allow me to introduce you, Knights of the Apocalypse. This is my master, the King of Camelot. The four Knights of the Apocalypse come face to face with Arthur Pendragon. the true King of Camelot and the true King of Chaos. Looking, honestly, pretty good. After all, this is what Arthur looked like when he woke up from his 2-year coma, and this was my reaction when I saw that.
Jeez, somebody get that kid a sandwich.
And this is the reaction of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse when they see the King of Chaos right in front of them. But come on, it can't be that bad, right? Well, I misspoke because Lancelot rushes in a blink of an eye and looks ready to take on and finish off the final boss of the video game. His hand inches away from finishing off the King of Chaos, but Arthur doesn't even flinch. And this is what surprises Lancelot. Arthur Pendragon, the King of Chaos and the guy who desperately needs to eat a sandwich, does not flinch. He just stands there. And Lancelot is frozen in place, stopping his attack. But that didn't stop Tristan and Percival from rushing in as well. Their swords drawn and are about to join Lancelot in striking Arthur down, with Tristan calling, "Lancelot, get out of my way." But before any of them can deal any sort of damaging blow, the God of War cries out, "It's not him," confusing the other 3 knights to freeze in their place and wonder what the heck is even going on. The 4 Knights of the Apocalypse gaze upon the true King of Chaos. As Lancelot explains, he's a wholly different man from the Arthur we all know. The Prince of Leonis is a little confused, asking, "A different man? You mean he's a fake?" As Lancelot replies, "Assuming the Arthur we know is the real one." It's then that the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse put all the pieces together and finally realize that this man, this one's the actual King Arthur and the true Master of Chaos.
Bully for you. You're almost caught up to where I was an hour ago. Let's chat again in an hour when you've gotten to where I'm at now.
Despite all the cool titles, Arthur doesn't actually seem like himself. Not only is he skinny as a skeleton, but he just looks depressed. The real king? Don't make me laugh. What you see is a powerless man. One who lost his nation, his people, who couldn't reach out to them in their greatest sadness and pain. Percival and his comrades sheathed their weapons, now knowing that this is not the tyrannical Arthur that they've been made aware of. But they want to know, how is this even possible, and demand answers. They all look to the boar son of gluttony, who begins to explain the story, saying it all began 18 years ago, right after the end of the Holy War.
Previously on Avatar.
The boar son of gluttony tells the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, "For 3,000 years I researched chaos, that creator of infinite unknown, to satisfy my curiosity and the thirst in my heart." She tells them of how she made Arthur Pendragon, back when he was still in a coma, the King of Chaos. After satisfying all the conditions, I succeeded in reviving chaos, placing it into the young man who'd serve as its vessel. And now the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse know how it all started, how this young king became a god of humans. And it was all because of Merlin. The true King Arthur, however, tries to defend his closest ally, the woman he's known since he was a kid, telling them, "Please don't get the wrong idea. She only did what she did so I could control the chaos and create a better world, a new world." And yeah, back then Britannia was not exactly in the best of places, so you can't really blame Arthur for wanting to create a better world than the one they were currently living in. As good as his intentions were, Merlin points out that's when he showed up. Merlin tells the 4 Knights that it was all because of this little furry shit, an incarnation of evil given life by chaos, the one called Cath Palug. As we see Cath Palug's many forms evolving to getting stronger and stronger, kinda like a freaky Pokemon. He followed King Arthur around, posing as a harmless figure, but once he learned Arthur's chaotic force, he unmasked himself and attacked. That name, Cath Palug, made Tristan and Percival scared. It's the name that Gother shared with them a few days ago. So they worked with the 7 deadly sins to hold Cath back, and Arthur, just in time, banished him within his own body. But the King of Chaos tells him that was the greatest error of all. Once Kath was inside Arthur's body, using his fearsome vitality and speed, he began to absorb the chaos within him. It ate into his very personality, which explains Arthur's full 180 twist from kind king to total racist psychopath. Merlin explains, "When I realized it, I forcibly separated Kath from him, but he had already taken most of Arthur's chaotic force. So I isolated Arthur in this space and watched Kath's movements for the ensuing 18 years. But it was all for the greater good. If Kath were to seize his remaining power, he would obtain chaos in its complete form, and it would mark the end of the world for good." It's here that the Four Knights of the Apocalypse kind of realize that they're screwed. After all, Meliodas and his group are fighting that scary of a foe, so how can they hope to match such a fearsome foe? But that's not what the God of War has on his mind. With his fist clenched, he glares at the true King of Camelot and tells him, "The end of the world for good? Don't give me that crap." Lancelot vents all of his frustration and anger at Arthur, yelling at him, "So you unleash this thing you barely comprehend at all, and then you say you can't control it? Every single part of this mess is the result of things you made happen." Lancelot is pissed. He is not going easy on them. Merlin and Arthur are ashamed of themselves as the God of War continues to vent all of his frustrations upon them. Don't you see how many humans got hurt thanks to the fake King Arthur, to say nothing of the other clans? The 7 deadly sins didn't fight just to clean up your damn mistakes. Neither did we.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Lancelot's teammates tried to calm him down before he decides to pull a Kratos and go all rage mode, with Percival saying, "Hey, I get how you feel, Lancelot, but that's going a bit too far." Even Gawain yells, "Yeah, stop blaming Mom for it." With Tristan chiming in, telling Lancelot, "She's right, they did it for the sake of the world." But Lancelot counters all of them with, "Oh, you think? Could you say the same thing to Jade if he were here?"
Who?
"Oh, right, Jade. I forgot about him." But Tristan did not forget his dear friend. And this really made his friend shut up and go silent, proving that Lancelot kinda has a point. And the true King of Chaos agrees with Lancelot, telling the son of Bond, "You're right, of course. I could apologize all day to you, and it'd do nothing to atone for my people's pain or fulfill my duty." And using his one and only arm, pulls out a rather small and dainty little dagger on the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, which gets them shocked, but come on, really? A little dagger? With Merlin not liking the looks of all this, and with a flick of his hand, the knife is no longer pointing at the Four Knights, but rather at himself. And it's here that the Four Knights of the Apocalypse watch in horror of what King Arthur really does with that dagger. After all the hard work of trying to find Merlin and figuring out a way to stop chaos for good, it ends with its master stabbing himself in the chest in order to atone for his sins, paving the way for forgiveness with his own blood.
There you have it. That's our story. Stands dead. Good night.
Okay, no, we all know this is not going to be the end of King Arthur. He would have done this earlier, and we know from the 5 Knights of the Holy Grail that they know of King Arthur. So this kind of leads into a theory I have, but let's talk about this chapter. The Four Knights of the Apocalypse finally realized the truth, that the fake was actually a very powerful enemy who has the vast majority of chaos on his side, and Arthur is left with the scraps. Regardless if the Usurper of Chaos gets those scraps, he will achieve 100% transformation and it's game over. Considering that the 7 deadly sins had to face Kath when he only had Arthur's arm, and went all out against him in Leonis, and he had more of the power of chaos on his side, with the best that they could do was just give him PTSD and a Vietnam flashback, the Four Knights of the Apocalypse should be very very worried that they are not on 7 Deadly Sins level. Heck, they're not even near Chaos level. Which leads to a theory that I have that doesn't involve Arthur trying to do some sort of Japanese stereotype.
Oh no, I'm a Japanese and I had a bad day. I think I'm gonna kill myself.
Arthur might have a tiny bit of chaos left inside him, but it is what Kath needs and what the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse are gonna get. Yep. My theory is that just like what Kath Paluk did with the 4 evils, the real King Arthur is going to do something similar for the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. Where Kath gave the 4 evils the power of chaos at the cost of their memories and their humanity, King Arthur is going to give willingly whatever he has left of chaos within him, so he can give our young heroes a much needed power up. It won't be through the same twisted way that Kath used it, but rather I think the blood that Arthur spilled is going to form the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail in Christian mythology is said to be a cup that caught the blood of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion. So the blood splattered by King Arthur, enchanted with the power of chaos, could form the Holy Grail, and the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse each have to take a sip from it in order to gain the power of chaos that he willingly sacrificed. That way the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse can gain their power-ups and not have any drawbacks, much like the 4 evils with Kath. The 4 Knights of the Apocalypse still need a solution to sealing away chaos for good, so it's not going to end here. So what do you think is going to happen in chapter 239? If you love 7 Deadly Sins and 4 Knights of the Apocalypse material, subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way very soon. And stay tuned for other material in the near future. This has been Dante from the Anime Underworld, and I'll see you mortals later.